China just crossed two lines humanity never expected to see so soon. A humanoid robot, walking, climbing, and balancing on its own, has reached the top of the Great Wall, shocking engineers around the world. And at the same time, a new brain chip, capable of connecting 4,096 wires directly into a human brain, is beginning human trials. These aren't experiments anymore. They're the beginning of a future we may not be ready for. Join us, and let's begin.
Number 13. China just beat America to the moon's hidden side. Space exploration just witnessed a historic moment that completely redefines the modern lunar race. China passed the United States by collecting the first rock samples from the far side of the moon, an achievement that seemed impossible just a few years back. The Chang'e 6 mission started its journey back to Earth, carrying precious samples of rock and soil from this mysterious and extremely difficult side to explore. For the first time in history, a spacecraft took off from this practically unknown lunar territory. China's National Space Administration confirmed that the ascent vehicle, carrying the valuable samples, successfully entered the designated lunar orbit after lifting off from the surface on Tuesday morning. The Chang'e 6 ascent module separated from the lander and took off from the South Pole Aitken Basin exactly at 7:38 a.m. Beijing time on June 4th. In just 6 minutes, it reached the planned orbit, ready to execute several orbital maneuvers in the coming phases. The mission began in May and landed on the far side the previous Sunday, using a specialized drill and sophisticated robotic arm to collect 2 kilograms of lunar material. The South Pole Aitken Basin, the landing site, is over 4 billion years old, offering an extraordinary window into the ancient history of the moon and the entire solar system. The samples got carefully stored in a vacuum-sealed metal container inside the ascent module. The robotic arm still had time to unfold the Chinese national flag, recording this historic milestone. China remains the only country to successfully land twice on the lunar far side, first in 2019 with the Chang'e 4 mission. State news agency Xinhua highlighted that the CNSA described the mission as an unprecedented achievement in human lunar exploration. The far side presents monumental technical challenges due to the greater distance from Earth and extremely rugged topography. To maintain communication with the probe, China used a relay satellite, working as a bridge between the probe and ground control. The ascent vehicle now prepares to meet the re-entry capsule already in orbit. The capsule will take approximately 3 weeks to deliver the samples to Earth, with landing expected in the Inner Mongolia Desert around June 25th. Number 12. Dubai's flying taxi service actually started taking passengers. Dubai just became the first city in the world where you can actually hail a flying taxi and cruise above traffic like you're living in the future. This isn't some test program with volunteers. Regular people with money are booking these flights through an app and soaring across the city at 120 miles per hour while everyone else sits in traffic jams below. The flying taxi is an autonomous electric vehicle looking like a giant drone with a passenger compartment attached. 2 seats inside, climate control, and massive windows giving incredible views of Dubai's skyline. The thing takes off vertically from designated skyports on building rooftops, climbs to cruising altitude around 1,000 feet, then flies in straight lines to the destination, completely bypassing roads. Each flight route got pre-approved by aviation authorities, creating air highways above the city. The system uses GPS and multiple sensors to maintain precise flight paths, automatically avoiding other aircraft and no-fly zones around sensitive areas. Ground control monitors every flight in real time, ready to take over if anything goes wrong, though the automation handles everything normally. Safety features are insane. If one motor fails, the other 7 keep flying. If multiple motors fail, backup systems kick in. If everything somehow fails at once, a massive parachute deploys, slowing the entire vehicle for a controlled emergency landing. The taxi even has its own airbags, deploying in case of hard impacts. A 10-minute flight covering 15 miles costs around $200, which sounds expensive until you realize the same trip takes 90 minutes by car during rush hour. Business executives and wealthy tourists form the primary customer base right now, but prices will drop as operations scale up and more vehicles enter service. Dubai plans to expand the network to 50 skyports across the city by 2026. The goal is making flying taxis accessible to middle-class residents, not just the wealthy. Government projections estimate that within 10 years, 25% of all transportation in Dubai will happen through the air, fundamentally changing how the city functions. Other Middle Eastern cities are watching closely. Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, and Doha all announced plans to launch similar services. The technology works especially well in hot climates, where electric motors don't struggle with thin air like they do in cold temperatures.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 11. SpaceX Starship catches itself with giant robot arms. SpaceX just pulled off something that sounds like it came straight out of a sci-fi movie. Their Starship rocket, the biggest and most powerful rocket ever built, launched into space and then came back down to be caught mid-air by giant mechanical arms they call chopsticks. No landing legs, no parachutes, just pure engineering madness that actually worked. The super heavy booster, standing 230 feet tall and weighing thousands of tons, fired 33 Raptor engines simultaneously during liftoff. After separating from the upper stage, the booster flipped around and began its controlled descent back to the launch tower. As it approached, the tower's massive arms opened wide, and the booster slotted perfectly between them like threading a needle at highway speeds. This catch mechanism changes everything about reusability. Traditional rockets land on legs that add weight and take up space. SpaceX's approach eliminates that dead weight entirely. The booster simply gets grabbed, inspected, refueled, and stacked for the next launch within hours instead of weeks. Elon Musk stated this method could enable launching the same rocket multiple times per day, something impossible with current technology. The precision required is insane. The booster descends at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, adjusting its trajectory using engine gimbal and grid fins. The flight computer calculates the catch point with millimeter accuracy, accounting for wind, temperature, and dozens of other variables. Any miscalculation means the booster crashes into the tower or misses the arms completely. SpaceX tested this catch system through thousands of simulations before attempting the real thing. Engineers practiced timing sequences, tested arm strength limits, and validated control algorithms. The first successful catch happened on the 5th Starship test flight, sending shockwaves through the aerospace industry. Competitors still use traditional landing methods, while SpaceX is already several generations ahead. NASA awarded SpaceX contracts to develop Starship as the lunar lander for Artemis missions. Astronauts will ride Starship to the moon's surface, making this catch system critical for mission success. The technology also enables Mars colonization plans, where rapid reusability matters for establishing sustainable supply chains between planets. Number 10. NVIDIA announces next-gen AI platform called Rubin. Jensen Huang, NVIDIA CEO, just announced ambitious plans to build a next-generation artificial intelligence platform called Rubin, named after famous astronomer Vera Rubin. The reveal happened during a speech at the Computex Technology Convention in Taipei, where Huang spoke to nearly 6,500 people, including industry executives, reporters, entrepreneurs, inventors, and AI enthusiasts at National Taiwan University's Sports Center. Huang highlighted that NVIDIA intends to introduce new AI accelerators annually, an aggressive strategy seeking to constantly improve performance, efficiency, and capabilities of the company's artificial intelligence systems. The Rubin platform promises to revolutionize artificial intelligence the same way Vera Rubin revolutionized our understanding of the cosmos by identifying dark matter's existence and conducting fundamental studies on galaxy structure and movements. Huang emphasized the importance of accelerated computing as a sustainable approach, combining GPUs with CPUs to significantly increase performance while maintaining relatively low energy consumption. This results in much greater efficiency, providing up to 25 times more throughput per watt compared to exclusive CPU use. The future of computing is accelerated, Huang stated, declaring that innovations in AI and accelerated computing are expanding the boundaries of what's possible, driving the next wave of technological advancement. During the speech, Huang also detailed other NVIDIA robotics and networking initiatives. The company revealed plans to offer next-generation networks with Spectrum-X, producing new solutions annually to satisfy growing need for high-performance Ethernet networks designed exclusively for AI applications. Spectrum-X represents the first Ethernet fabric designed specifically for artificial intelligence, improving network performance by 1.6 times compared to typical fabrics, accelerating processing, analysis, and execution of AI operations. NVIDIA's annual release strategy demonstrates commitment to maintaining technological leadership in an extremely competitive and rapidly evolving market.
Number 9. Meta's AR glasses finally look like normal glasses. Meta just revealed their new augmented reality glasses called Orion, and for the first time, AR glasses don't look like you strapped a computer to your face. These things look like slightly chunky regular glasses that you could wear in public without everyone staring. The breakthrough is how Meta shrunk down all the computing components into a frame weighing just 98 grams. Previous AR headsets weighed 500 grams or more, causing neck strain and limiting wearing time. Orion uses micro-LED displays, projecting images directly onto custom lenses, creating virtual objects that appear to exist in the real world. The field of view reaches 70 degrees, significantly wider than competing products, allowing virtual screens and 3D objects to appear life-sized. You can place multiple virtual monitors around your workspace, watch movies on a massive virtual screen, or see navigation arrows overlaid on streets as you walk. The glasses connect wirelessly to a small computing puck that stays in your pocket, handling the heavy processing. This architecture keeps the glasses lightweight while providing enough computing power for complex AR applications. Battery life reaches 4 hours of continuous use, sufficient for typical daily activities before requiring recharge. Hand tracking works without controllers or gloves. Built-in cameras track finger movements with millimeter precision, letting you interact with virtual objects through natural gestures. Pinch fingers to click, swipe to scroll, or grab and move virtual objects like physical objects. The system even tracks subtle hand movements, allowing virtual typing on surfaces. Meta partnered with Ray-Ban to design frames that match current fashion trends. The glasses come in multiple styles and colors, looking more like designer eyewear than technology products. Prescription lenses are available, making Orion practical for people who already wear glasses daily. The price point remains the big question. Meta hasn't announced consumer pricing, but industry analysts estimate somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000 per unit. That's expensive, but comparable to high-end smartphones when they first launched. Number 8. Boston Dynamics Atlas does parkour while carrying heavy objects. Boston Dynamics just released new footage that makes every other robotics company look like they're standing still. Their Atlas humanoid robot is now doing parkour moves while carrying objects weighing up to 25 pounds, and the movements are borderline scary how fluid they look. Atlas jumps over obstacles, balances on narrow beams, and executes backflips while maintaining perfect control of whatever it's carrying. The level of dynamic balance required for these movements exceeds what most humans can do. When Atlas lands from a jump, the robot's legs absorb impact forces exceeding twice its body weight, redistributing energy through sophisticated actuator systems.
The control algorithms running this show process data from hundreds of sensors, measuring orientation, velocity, acceleration, and joint positions thousands of times per second. This creates a feedback loop allowing real-time adjustments to maintain stability during extreme movements. What separates Atlas from competitors is the hydraulic actuation system, giving it explosive power for jumping and rapid direction changes. Most humanoid robots use electric motors that can't generate the same power-to-weight ratio. Atlas stands 5 feet tall and weighs 190 pounds, but moves with agility that seems impossible for something that heavy. The robot demonstrated ability to navigate construction sites, climbing scaffolding, walking across wooden planks suspended between structures, and picking up tools from cluttered workbenches. Boston Dynamics engineers programmed Atlas using reinforcement learning, where the robot learned through millions of simulated trials before attempting movements in physical space. The simulation environment allows Atlas to fail safely, learning from mistakes without risking hardware damage. Each successful movement gets reinforced, while failures provide data for adjusting control parameters. The company hasn't announced commercial availability yet, but industry experts estimate Atlas could cost anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 per unit. Construction companies, disaster response teams, and military organizations have expressed strong interest in deploying Atlas for dangerous environments where human safety is a concern.
Number 7. Brain chip breaks world record with 4,096 electrodes in human brain. Precision Neuroscience, direct rival to Neuralink, just set a new world record by implanting over 4,096 electrodes in a human brain, directly surpassing the previous mark of 2,048 electrodes established by Elon Musk's company. This breakthrough could drastically accelerate the brain-computer interface field and completely change how we treat neurological conditions. During a clinical study conducted in April 2024 at Mount Sinai Health System in New York, Precision Neuroscience reached this impressive milestone, literally doubling the data transmission capacity between brains and machines. The secret lies in the Layer 7 cortical interface, a set of ultra-thin film microelectrodes designed to perfectly adapt to the brain cortex without causing any damage to delicate tissue. This technology allows thousands of channels to be connected to any area of the brain's surface through a patented and minimally invasive insertion technique. Each array contains 1,024 individual electrodes, with diameters ranging from 50 to 380 micrometers, all connected to a custom hardware interface. Precision Neuroscience emphasized the critical importance of these advanced interfaces, which require collecting and processing enormous amounts of neural data spanning multiple brain regions, always prioritizing patient safety above everything else. When the brain processes information or starts an action, it generates specific electrical signals. Precision's thin film technology can capture these signals at microscopic scale, providing unprecedented insight into brain activity. The closest comparison would be like switching from a standard television to an ultra-high-definition one. Dr. Joshua Betterson, chairman of neurosurgery at Mount Sinai Health System, led the study and commented on the potential impact. High-resolution cortical mapping could revolutionize surgical procedures, guiding more precise and efficient interventions, potentially leading to significantly better outcomes for patients. During the study, the team positioned 4 precision arrays on a patient's brain surface, covering approximately 8 square centimeters with electrodes. The system transmitted cortical data from all 4 arrays simultaneously, generating detailed visualization of the brain's sensory motor boundary.
Number 6. 中国人类集市人攻克大城场。在进门两例，人类集市人发展迅速，表现出经验性的工作，如敲蛋壳、擦箱式、折叠为一和甚至整理办公。Now, 谢氏 Technology, a company based in China, we can add conquering world monuments to the growing list of robotic achievements. The Xbot L, an android developed by the startup, climbed nothing less than the Great Wall of China, establishing a new landmark in mobile robotics. A new video released this week shows the Xbot L accomplishing the feat of being the first android to climb the Great Wall, a bold claim considering most androids are still being tested in labs or working in factories, not strolling through tourist trails. Although not as fast as Unitree's H1 or as flexible as Boston Dynamics' Atlas, the Xbot L demonstrates impressive ability moving consistently along the famous wall, handling irregular pavements and broken surfaces well. The robot climbs stairs with remarkable ease, and when it reaches one of the watchtowers, it even performs some Tai Chi movements, demonstrating advanced balance and coordination. Robot Era claims the Xbot L excels at navigating the unpredictable surfaces of the wall and rarely dominated watchtowers thanks to its reinforcement learning technology. Yu, co-founder of Robot Era, explained that algorithms help strengthen the robot's perceptive capacity and decision-making when facing unknown terrains. The robot can thus recognize complex path conditions and adjust its walking posture in real time. In the video, you can appreciate the android's advanced navigation and balance, but there's also a curious detail: duct tape on its midsection. Was it to simulate waste bags used by tourists, or did the Xbot L overdo the exercises and need bandaging? Nobody knows for sure, but it's fun seeing that despite technological advances, androids still need occasional improvised fixes to leave the lab and enter the real world. Despite not being a revolutionary breakthrough in android robotics, we must recognize Robot Era's promotional effort.
Number 5. Military drones just changed how American soldiers fight wars. The United States Army just pulled off a move that's going to completely flip how troops operate when things get real on the battlefield. First batch of short-range reconnaissance drones landed in the hands of an airborne brigade, and these things are no joke. Soldiers are going through intense training right now to master these devices packed with cutting-edge sensors built specifically for reconnaissance, security, and identifying targets in real time. The difference between having these tools and not having them is massive when lives are on the line during combat operations. Decisions need to happen fast and accurate with zero room for mistakes. These drones deliver operational flexibility that simply didn't exist before, letting troops spot threats way ahead of time, map out safe routes, and drastically cut down how much soldiers get exposed to unnecessary dangers. The specific model they're getting is called the Skydio X2D RQ-28A, part of the SRR program, and the specs are impressive. Flight time hits 35 minutes, comes with FLIR thermal sensor, strobe lighting, and full night operation capability. Weighing under 2 kilograms, the drone can be launched by hand and still has vertical takeoff and landing ability. Top speed reaches 72 kilometers per hour, and the device goes operational in under a minute after unpacking. Complete delivery of SRR systems from the first phase should wrap up by the end of this year. The next phase, called Tranche 2, promises even more advanced drones with longer range and updated controller. Expectations point to the Skydio X10 model, with deliveries starting in January next year. Soldiers who already tested the equipment report immediate difference in tactical performance. High-definition video transmissions work perfectly both day and night, guaranteeing significant strategic advantage over opponents still depending on traditional reconnaissance methods. Number 4. Waymo self-driving taxis now operate in 3 major cities. Waymo's robo-taxis are officially operating in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Phoenix without safety drivers, and they're completing over 100,000 paid rides weekly. This isn't a beta test anymore. These are fully autonomous vehicles navigating complex urban environments, dealing with aggressive drivers, unpredictable pedestrians, and construction zones without human intervention. The vehicles use a combination of LiDAR, radar, and cameras, creating a 360-degree view of surroundings up to 300 meters away. The sensor suite detects objects as small as a shopping bag in the road, tracks movements of dozens of vehicles simultaneously, and predicts pedestrian behavior several seconds ahead.
Waymo software processes this sensory data in real time, making driving decisions faster than human reaction times. Safety statistics reveal something surprising. Waymo vehicles have driven over 20 million autonomous miles, with significantly fewer accidents per mile than human drivers. The company reports 85% reduction in crashes compared to human-driven vehicles covering similar routes. Most incidents involving Waymo vehicles result from other drivers running red lights, making illegal turns, or rear-ending stopped robotaxis. Passengers report weird experiences riding in vehicles with empty driver seats. The car pulls up, doors unlock automatically, and you climb into a spotless interior with screens showing your route. The vehicle drives smoothly, following traffic laws precisely, never speeding, always using turn signals, and maintaining safe following distances. Some find it relaxing, while others feel uneasy trusting their safety to algorithms. Pricing remains competitive with Uber and Lyft, sometimes cheaper during surge pricing periods when human drivers are scarce. Waymo doesn't have driver wages to pay, allowing lower base rates. The company plans expansion to Austin, Texas, and Miami, Florida by mid-2025. Regulatory approval in new cities takes time as governments develop frameworks for autonomous vehicle operation. Each city presents unique challenges with different traffic patterns, weather conditions, and road infrastructure, requiring extensive testing before public launch.
Number 3. Hyundai's flying car actually flies between cities. Hyundai just completed the first intercity flight of their electric flying car, traveling 40 miles between two South Korean cities at 120 miles per hour cruising altitude. This isn't some prototype barely leaving the ground. This is a production intent vehicle that regular people will eventually own, assuming you have a pilot's license and spare cash. The SA-1 features 8 small rotors for vertical takeoff and landing, transitioning to forward flight using tilt rotors. The design looks like a large drone crossed with a helicopter, seating 4 passengers plus pilot. The electric propulsion system runs nearly silent compared to helicopters, producing noise levels comparable to dishwashers instead of lawnmowers. Range maxes out at 60 miles per charge, sufficient for most urban and suburban commutes. Hyundai partnered with Uber to develop urban air mobility networks where flying cars operate like aerial taxis. Passengers book rides through an app, and the vehicle picks them up from designated skyports on building rooftops or parking structures. The system bypasses traffic entirely, reducing hour-long commutes to 15-minute flights. Safety features exceed traditional aircraft standards. Multiple redundant systems ensure the vehicle continues flying even if several components fail. If all propulsion systems somehow fail, a ballistic parachute deploys, lowering the vehicle safely to ground. Automated flight controls handle most piloting tasks, with humans primarily monitoring systems and managing emergencies. The production timeline targets 2028 for commercial operations in select cities. Regulatory approval represents the biggest obstacle, as aviation authorities worldwide develop frameworks for urban air mobility. Each country requires separate certification, slowing global expansion. Pricing estimates range from $200,000 to $300,000 per vehicle, comparable to luxury cars but accessible to upper-middle-class consumers. Operating costs should remain low thanks to electric propulsion and minimal maintenance requirements. Hyundai projects ride-sharing services will offer flights costing $3 to $5 per mile, competitive with premium ground transportation once scale is achieved. Infrastructure development is happening now. Cities are designating skyport locations, installing charging stations, and creating air traffic management systems. Singapore, Dubai, Los Angeles, and Sao Paulo lead in preparing for flying car operations. The technology could revolutionize transportation in congested megacities, where ground infrastructure can't expand further. Number 2. Google's quantum computer solves problem in 5 minutes that takes supercomputers 10,000 years. Google just announced their new quantum computer called Willow solved a computational problem in under 5 minutes that would take the world's fastest supercomputers 10,000 years to complete. This isn't incremental progress. We're talking about a fundamental shift in computing power that makes current technology look like ancient history.
Willow uses 105 qubits, which are quantum bits that exist in multiple states simultaneously until measured. This property lets quantum computers explore millions of solution paths at once instead of checking them one by one like regular computers. The more qubits you add, the exponentially more powerful the system becomes. Google's breakthrough addresses the biggest challenge in quantum computing: error rates. Qubits are extremely fragile, losing their quantum state from tiny disturbances like temperature fluctuations or electromagnetic interference. Previous quantum computers made so many errors that results became unreliable. Willow implements error correction so effective that adding more qubits actually reduces errors instead of increasing them. This inverts the traditional scaling problem that plagued quantum computing for decades. The test problem Google used involves random circuit sampling, generating sequences of quantum operations and measuring outcomes. While this specific problem has limited practical applications, proving the quantum computer works correctly demonstrates the system can tackle real-world challenges. Potential applications include drug discovery, material science, artificial intelligence optimization, and cryptography. Pharmaceutical companies could simulate molecular interactions at quantum levels, designing medicines that precisely target diseases. Material scientists could discover new compounds with properties impossible to predict using classical computers. AI researchers could train neural networks exponentially faster, advancing machine learning capabilities overnight. The implications for cybersecurity are terrifying and exciting simultaneously. Current encryption methods rely on mathematical problems that classical computers can't solve in reasonable timeframes. Quantum computers could crack these encryptions easily, rendering most digital security obsolete. This drives urgent development of quantum-resistant encryption protocols. Google hasn't announced when Willow becomes commercially available, but experts estimate practical quantum computers remain 5 to 10 years away. The technology requires extreme cooling to near absolute zero temperatures and sophisticated error correction systems. Building quantum computers that operate reliably outside specialized labs represents the next major challenge. Number 1. Apple Vision Pro now lets surgeons see through patients during operations. Surgeons are now wearing Apple Vision Pro headsets in operating rooms and seeing things that sound straight out of a superhero movie. They're looking at patients and seeing internal organs, blood vessels, and tumors floating in 3D space exactly where they exist inside the body. This isn't some gimmick either. Real surgeries happening right now use this technology to save lives. The system works by taking CT scans and MRI images from before surgery and converting them into holographic 3D models. When the surgeon looks at the patient through Vision Pro, these models overlay perfectly on the body, showing what's underneath the skin without making a single cut. Blood vessels glow red, tumors appear highlighted, and critical nerves show up in bright colors, warning surgeons to avoid them. Doctors at several hospitals tested this setup during brain surgeries, spine operations, and tumor removals. The results blew everyone away. Surgeons made smaller incisions because they knew exactly where to cut. Operations finished faster because doctors didn't waste time searching for structures. Most importantly, fewer complications happened because surgeons avoided damaging critical tissues. One neurosurgeon described it like having X-ray vision combined with a GPS navigation system guiding every movement. Traditional surgery relies on mental visualization, where doctors memorize scan images and imagine internal anatomy while operating. That's incredibly difficult and leaves room for mistakes. Vision Pro eliminates the guesswork, showing real-time guidance overlaid directly on what surgeons see. The headset tracks head position with millimeter accuracy, keeping holograms aligned perfectly even as surgeons move around the operating table. If the doctor leans closer to examine something, the hologram scales and adjusts automatically. The system accounts for patient breathing, updating the display so moving organs stay aligned with their holographic representations. Medical device companies are developing specialized apps for Vision Pro that go beyond basic imaging. Some apps simulate blood flow, showing which vessels feed tumors. Others highlight surgical margins, indicating exactly where healthy tissue ends and diseased tissue begins. There's even an app that replays previous successful surgeries step by step, teaching residents proper techniques through augmented reality demonstrations. The cost remains high, with Vision Pro headsets running $3,500 each, plus expensive medical software licenses. However, hospitals see this as a worthwhile investment when it prevents even one surgical complication. Malpractice lawsuits cost millions, while Vision Pro pays for itself after preventing a single major error.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.